We are back. It's Monday. It's Chasing Green Arrows. We're reviewing game week 31, 2. I'm looking forward to game week 33. I'm Gianni and Dean, live from Tuscany, and I'm joined by Mr. Dean Jones, who is soon to fly back to San Diego, but is currently still in London. Dean, how's your trip been, and how's your FPL been?
Yeah, trip's probably been better than the FPL, to be honest, mate. It's not been a great game week. I remember a big man on Friday was saying he thought it'd be a high-scoring week. I mean, I thought at the time, are you sure? Because part of my reasoning was a lot of these teams are actually playing against each other, which kind of makes me fear for which way this is going to go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've got 41 points. Turns out it's 4 above average at the moment. But that's with playing the assistant manager chip as well, which obviously didn't work out for me on this occasion. I mean, obviously at 2-0 up, I was getting a little bit excited about the Glasner points rolling in. But yeah, not really a very good game week, but it doesn't seem to have mattered too much.
Yeah, no, I think there's still so much to play for. There's obviously some have got Bournemouth players tonight, but Wednesday's obviously a big one. Most have got 6 assets for Newcastle, Palace, and then the low-scoring game week. A lot of that I think started fairly early on when we saw clean sheet wipeouts for Arsenal, who were the early kickoff I think Saturday, and a lot of double Arsenal defence, including big man, and maybe most watching anyone that wildcarded is at least 1, if not 2, and then obviously Man City clean sheet wipeout. So many have Guardiola. I just saw a comment in the chat. Thank you for all your comments in the chat. I think it was Adam. He said, Gianni has brain farts quite a lot or something like that. Fair play. I absolutely do, especially when I'm jumping on sort of fairly like last minute on YouTube. And I think you get away with it on YouTube. But if you've ever watched me on TV, and I've been doing, I genuinely don't brain fart. Like it just doesn't. Obviously, it's happened once or twice, but I'm well prepped and I'm quite well polished. But on YouTube, I'm anything but. And I think that's quite nice for YouTube. But yeah, let us know your thoughts there, Adam.
Yeah, well, it's not a recorded show. I think it's record, you'd be a little bit more. But our lives are more raw. And yeah, we have just a bit more, play off the cuff a little bit. Obviously, we do have some stuff planned today, though. So you've been prepping that behind the scenes ahead of kickoff for this show, so well done, mate. But yeah, just not that good a game week so far. Still could be saved tonight, but I'm hoping that Fulham wipe out any Bournemouth points that people are hoping for.
Yes, yeah. Kirk's clean sheet wipeout would be lovely. Peter, thank you for being a member premium chaser. And Peter says, remember to like and subscribe. Yeah, let's get that in nice and early today. Bet Gianni is in his undies because I'm in a bedroom. No, I'm actually not. I have done job interviews though. I've done a job interview before where I was in my undies and a shirt and jacket. Like it was a Zoom interview and it was at home and I was like, who needs to? I'm sure I've done Chasing Green Arrows in undies before. There we go. Of course, there's like the target 100 people, all FPL addicts here. Brain farts are what makes it such fun. I think so. It's not that I do them on purpose, CH, but I'm very happy with them on YouTube Lives, especially on this channel. I think it works. So yeah, guys, as always, the show is about you. If you've got any big talking points you want us to get to in terms of topics, please put them in the chat. The theme for today's show, though, we're going to look back at some of the highlights of the weekend. We're going to look ahead and talk Man City midfielders in detail. And we're going to talk captaincy for game week 33. We'll do an early poll because captaincy for 33 is massive. In fact, let's not do the captaincy poll yet because we'll do it when we talk captaincy. But let's just start with some Man City. No. Let's start with some of the games at the weekend. Let's start with triple captain Isak. How are you feeling, triple captainers? Do you think he scores on Wednesday night? We'll do a poll, yes or no. Dean, when we look at that game and we see the XG plot from Newcastle, they absolutely tore Man United apart, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I mean, it was a real contrast in sides in terms of where they're at, in terms of their growth. And Man United are miles off Newcastle at that moment. Obviously surprising that out of that many goals, Isak doesn't score more points and doesn't. I mean, his assist is nice, but at that point, I was like, yeah, he's gonna get 1 or 2 here. Weird one is like we had him as captain, but I was a bit like, well, big man's got him triple captain, so I don't know what I really want from him here. So it was a difficult game to judge in sense of that. But obviously, yeah, as Manon says, Barnes stole the show. Obviously, a not very highly owned FPL asset in them anymore. Yeah, I've got Livramento, I've got Byrne, I've got Isak. Good win for Newcastle, but not
I've got
really.
those three. We
Yeah.
were unlucky, weren't we, with Livramento? He could have had an assist. Like, he played really well, but then the clean sheet wipeout was rubbish for us. Like, Newcastle should not be conceding off 0.5, 0.65 XG. Like, you expect a clean sheet there.
You really, really should be. I actually thought he'd got an assist because at one point when he made that driving run into the box, I didn't actually see the goal. I'd like turned away for a minute, and as I looked back, they'd cut to Livramento, and like people were congratulating. I was like, "Oh yes, at least he's got the assist." And then I saw the goal. I was like, "Oh no, he hasn't." Do I think Isak scores in the next game? Yes, I do. I mean, he's still playing very well. He's still got that threat. He still plays off the shoulder very well. And I think with every game that passes, Newcastle will be growing in hope and expectation. They keep him. This is a side looking good for Champions League football. A very fun team to watch as well. You know, from Isak's point of view, you don't get a chance to play many fun teams where the expectation as well is like just a bit tempered. Like if he goes to Arsenal or he goes to Liverpool, it's like pressure. Gotta win. So if I was him, I think I'll be like, you know what? I'm really enjoying this, and I'm not finished yet. Let's see what happens next year, and then maybe we go for a move after that. So let's see what Isak ends up doing. But I think right now you'd have to say that Isak stays at Newcastle.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. And the game this weekend for Newcastle was interesting. One, because we all have triple Newcastle. And two, because it's a tough game for once. Like, they've had a good fixture run. Going to Villa Park is going to be difficult. But with Villa playing Champions League this week, Newcastle not playing in Europe, the way Newcastle are playing, I fancy Newcastle to go to Villa and get something. You could argue that is a big game in the Champions League spots race. Newcastle win that, and they'll be like such strong favourites to get Champions League. They already are. Just a simple thank you from Jay. Jay, thank you so much. Jay, you did win my members only sleeper £100 Amazon voucher as well, which hopefully will be with you in the next month or so. So yeah, Jay, thank you so much for sending £5 our way, but I'll be sending £100 yours very soon.
Very nice. That's cool.
Oh, Malachi's still a member as well. I'd love to see that. Guys, let us know what you're planning on doing with Newcastle assets. I mean, knowing so many are free hitting in 34 when they play Ipswich, there might be one or two that sell a Newcastle defender, for example, this week. Like, you could sell a Dan Byrne maybe for a doubler. It'll be interesting to see what people do. But obviously, if you've got the attacking players, you're happy. Shout out to Jacob Murphy owners. They got the assist. They were probably unlucky. Jacob Murphy, when he got subbed, was on, I think, for 2 bonus points. But then a goal or two went in, and then his bonus dropped. But again, Murphy was brilliant and could have had more. So fair play for all those.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if you noticed, but I did end up signing Marlon.
I absolutely noticed, mate. Yeah, we'll come away from Newcastle Man United now. I saw Marlon on the bench, and I couldn't believe the Aston Villa team selection. Like, we were all wrong. Your mate was wrong. Like, Rodgers started. Like, he went almost full strength. It was like, what are you doing, Unai? I'm shocked with that. I bench Rodgers, obviously, but Marlon comes on for you and still gets the goal.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, I obviously wasn't watching the game live. And so I was just like, had someone updating me on the scores. And it was towards the end. Obviously, he goes, Marlon scored. I was like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, I knew he would start. Yeah, I knew he'd start. Rodgers must have come on. And then later on, watch it. And I'm like, oh, everyone was completely wrong about this. Like, the whole pack just like completely wrong. Like, Ollie Watkins doesn't start. Morgan Rodgers does start. Marlon doesn't start. Very weird and very unexpected, but
naive from Emery. I mean, I don't want to call Emery naive because he's such a good cup manager. He's won so many cup competitions. He surely knows how to handle the midweeks or the Premier League rotation. But geez, doing that between 6 days of PSG, and it's only Southampton. I just felt
he's obviously trying to lift them, right? He wants them back onto a certain level. He doesn't want them feeling too flat. He knows what their fitness levels are. He knows how close they are to hitting the red zone. And I think that he's just played off of that and been like, I don't want these lads going into the next game with their heads down. And they've only just played like 15 minutes against Southampton.
Yeah.
So clearly he's taken the opposite approach to what the vibe we were kind of getting going into the game. So yeah, very surprising. But so I benched Morgan Rodgers. I put Marlon into my team. The exact opposite thing happened for Aston Villa, but they ended up with the same points anyway.
Yeah. Let's talk about a couple of the other games on Sunday. Dean, a lot of selling Cole Palmer. If you own Cole Palmer still, and there's a lot in the community that do, this is the week you have to get rid, because Chelsea go to Fulham, tough away trip, but more importantly, Saka and De Bruyne are 2 premium midfielders that people are looking to buy this week if you don't own them. It was another Saka, Palmer and Enzo blank. Sorry, Palmer 1 assist, Enzo blank. Enzo could have had so many points again. Honestly, I say it every week.
Yeah.
People rip me for having Enzo in my team. He's been really unlucky, and he's playing much better than Palmer, but they're both non-events in terms of FPL at the moment because Chelsea are a non-event. 34 shots. Like, that is... And look at all those shots from distance, though. That's depressing. You don't... If you're Thomas Frank and you manage Brentford, you don't let your team shoot from there. It's a clear philosophy of Frank, like, get big chances, not chances. We don't mind if we only have 2 chances if one of them's a big one.
Yeah.
But Chelsea, I mean, they did work a couple of big chances. Jackson should have scored it at the bar from an Enzo assist. But what's that, like 15 shots from distance? Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Enzo Maresca should be under a little bit of pressure, really. I mean, it's for me, it's all on him, the way that these games are being managed, the selections that he's going with. Obviously, Nicholas Jackson, not particularly happy to be removed from the game at a stage when they're searching for another goal. Just makes a few, odd selection choices. Like the right back was strange to go with Chalobah when he's got 2 right backs actually on the bench. So some weird things going on at Chelsea. I mean, I've said for a while that Palmer wasn't really looking to me like a good asset in this game. So I've been okay to get away with that one. But yeah, I definitely think he would be worth ditching at this stage. I mean, the only thing I'd really say about this game is obviously Ipswich have got a draw that most people wouldn't have expected. And they've now got Arsenal next, haven't they? So most people not expecting Ipswich to get anything from that game. They are expecting Saka to return. But maybe there was a chance that Ipswich have got a lift from this game, and maybe they take that into the Arsenal one and cause a surprise at a time when the league doesn't really mean that much to them. Rodrev says Maresca was like this at Leicester last season too. Yeah, a lot of people said this would happen. Yeah, a lot of people said like there would be a second half fall off. It really has happened. Baragaz says, will they ditch Maresca? They're saying not. Like, that's the kind of briefing, is that they won't. But I mean, if anyone's going to go back on their word, it's probably Chelsea. They've done it once, twice, 3 times before. So that wouldn't surprise me if Maresca didn't carry on. But they're saying that they will continue with this, and obviously they're going to go back into the transfer market. Liam Delap, a player that they are looking at, obviously featured in this game, but not as heavily as we would have expected. He came off the bench for 20 minutes. So yeah, really strange game I thought for Chelsea, mate, and yeah, not reflected in that 34 shots. What we actually came away feeling about it, I don't think.
They've missed more big chances. It's something like 74 than any other team in the league this season. Guys, thank you for your comments on these games. It's difficult sometimes to the chat because obviously you're asking questions about anything that we can't bring them up. But when you give us a comment on the game we're talking about or the topic we're talking about, we'll always try and flash them up. So I can see in the chat, Christian, Palmer to KDB, Rodrev, Maresca was like this at Leicester. You point it out. Burrow, did Chelsea ditch Maresca? Derek, how about Cucurella being on fire? Maybe Chelsea's defence is so useless without Fofana. Again, out for the season, it doesn't help. So yeah, all really good points, guys, especially if you're a member. One of the benefits of being a member is we involve you in the show more. So we will always bring up channel member questions or comments in the live chat. Thank you, as always, for your support. Dean, a bit of housekeeping. I've just gone to retweet your tweet because I forgot to tweet, and I noticed your tweet didn't go through either. So neither of us have tweeted 14 minutes into the show, so you might want to just do that. I can find it on your page.
It's there.
Really?
15 minutes ago.
That's weird. Why can't I find it?
It should be top of my profile. Someone else check it. Everyone else go and retweet it. Actually,
refresh.
Go and find my tweet, everyone, and give it a repost.
Your last 3 tweets. So give me sport.
Should be there. Should be there.
Oh,
Someone go and have a look and just the in-betweeters says off call. Yeah, we do sound like two bumbling idiots here.
very good,
Yeah, it
Jay.
should be there. Hope so.
We got one more game that I wanted to touch on from yesterday. So Twitter is broken, yeah, and maybe another game from yesterday. Let's move to it. I can't remember which one it was, but I grabbed something good. It was another XG plot, which I love, by the way. This is all from Between the Posts. You can subscribe to Between the Posts if you want to. You have to pay for it, or you can watch my Sunday debriefs on my channel, or you can watch Chasing Green Arrows, where we show this stuff quite a lot. I pay a monthly fee, and I'm very happy to, because it's brilliant stuff. But the XG plot from Liverpool West Ham, just again, it shows the pattern of play. Like, you look at it and go, oh, Liverpool 2-1, was it a comfortable 2-1 victory? We know they scored late. Well, the XG plot always gives, I think, a good indication of the swing of the game. And we can see pretty 50-50 there. Like, Liverpool, they're on a bit of a downward, they're on a clear downward trajectory since they really exited the Champions League, aren't they, Dean?
Yeah, maybe even before that. I mean, I don't know statistically and data-wise what it looked like, but the feel of it hasn't been that great. Oh, Colin said he clicked on the link from my tweet. Well done, mate. I'm glad those links are worth posting. Didn't realise Neil and Jay were hosting today. Blimey, which one's which?
Who's who?
CH can't see my tweet either, though. How weird.
Yeah. Honestly, it's not there for me. I've checked on mobile as well. Did you tag? You didn't tag me, did you? No, you would have tagged
Chasing Green Arrows. I didn't tag you. No, that's very bizarre. It's definitely gone out. Yeah, it says 17 minutes ago. Geddy can see it. Yeah, very strange. Silly app. But yeah, I've completely forgotten what we were talking about now. But Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean Salah's still Salah, but he's not quite the consistent Salah we've seen. I mean, he's got Leicester this week. Is there anyone out there that's going to captain Salah this week? Do you think? He's single game week, but Leicester.
I mean, obviously he's going to be a reasonable option. I'm just bored of it all. I just kind of like bored of Salah, bored of Liverpool. I kind of want to, the title race is obviously done. And then you've got that race for the Champions League / Europa League / Conference League. And what's the order going to end up here? And that's where all the excitement is and where the exciting players are that you want to see grab the points. But a game like that, it's very difficult to completely steer away from Mo Salah. But he hasn't been that impressive recently. I do wonder, like, now he's got the security of that 2-year contract. What's the motivation now? Like 32, 33, about to win the league. Obviously, if he was going to win the Ballon d'Or, like, he's put in the work for that already, really. So what do you get from Salah now? Ultimate professional, like, not questioning any of that. But, like, you've got to keep having that desire. And obviously, like, Ronaldo's had it. Kane's had it. I know Kane hasn't won anything, but you see, in those sorts of players, the professionalism, the way they look after themselves is very good. I don't really want to captain Salah, but I'm not going to rule it out at this moment. And Mark says the motivation is to break records. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's one thing he's trying for, but the goals have dried up a little bit in comparison to what could have been. Salah 1 year, then a Saudi transfer. Pretty good in the first half of the season, says Nicola. Yeah, absolutely no doubt about that. No doubt about that at all. Dylan says every year Salah seems to drop off around Ramadan. How many times are you going to prove? You don't like this stat, do you, mate? You don't believe that that really happened.
We looked into it. It wasn't a thing. Like, we wanted it to be a thing. We loved the narrative, but the numbers were still Salah. They were still good. Okay, it's going to be interesting to see how much we back Liverpool. Like, is there any other Liverpool players we're buying? It is worth noting Conor Bradley returned. And because he got an early sub, and we knew that Conor Bradley was never going to get 90 minutes, but Slot did tell us Conor Bradley was going to start in the press conference. That was nice to hear. And a few FPL content creators went there. I was close to going there. And fair play, he got 9 points because he got the early sub, he got the clean sheet. And because he got the clean sheet, he got the 3 bonus points. He could have had a goal as well.
He could have had a goal, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
he's a great pick. I'll be picking him on wildcard. I'm sure of it. In 34, I'm wildcarding. And he's got Leicester in 33. Like, he's a great pick. So let's move off Liverpool and go to the 2 big players of the game week. We need to talk Saka and we need to talk De Bruyne. We also need to talk about Man City mids in general. So should we start on Saka, and then go to Man
Oh.
City. Like, when we look at the double game week, Dean, if you don't own Saka, you're going to feel like you need to bring him in, aren't you? Because he should be good for 2 starts. I think he starts both games. It's Sunday, Wednesday, I believe, and obviously he's got a game at the Bernabeu. If the game at the Bernabeu goes 120 minutes, that puts me off Saka.
Okay.
If it goes 90, he plays Wednesday at the Bernabeu, Sunday away to Ipswich, but it's Wednesday, Sunday, and then it's Wednesday to Palace. But then after that, they don't play in game week 34. They've got a blank, and they're not involved in the FA Cup. So after that Crystal Palace second game of game week 33, he's got a week till the semi-final of the Champions League. So the spacing for the fixtures is all right. It is now going to be 3 games in 8 days from Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, but then you've got a week off. And because of that week off and no fixture in 34, I reckon Saka probably plays. So do we like these fixtures for upside? Ipswich and Palace. Arsenal haven't been scoring that many goals, but if you're going to buy an Arsenal player, it has to be Saka, isn't it? Arsenal attacker.
I think so, yeah. And, he's still going to... I know it's kind of meaningless at this point, the Premier League to Arsenal, but he's still going to want to play. He still wants to make up for lost time this season. And he can still, use games like this to bump his stats up for the year. So I think he'll still be a pretty good pick. I mean, I can get there. I've got a transfer. It would basically be me going Bruno Fernandes, who has Wolves at home, to get over to Saka, who has this double. And I think that's probably worthwhile. I mean, obviously there's chances of a Bruno return against Wolves, but equally Man United could lose that game 3-0 and I wouldn't be that surprised. So I think I'll probably head for Saka. Nikolai says, I also think Saka gets 2 starts as he needs match rhythm. And that's it. Like, there's obviously going to be a part of Arteta that controls his minutes for the rest of this season, doesn't take risks. But at the same time, you want to start playing him back. And a player like Saka ain't going to be happy just sat on the bench or being subbed or not getting the minutes. Like, they want to be playing. So I think it will be Saka time for me.
He weren't happy when he came off the bench at the weekend. They were drawing, and he had a few sort of. I never really see Saka do this, but he had a few sort of hands up sort of moments. You see Salah doing it a lot. And Bruno. Saka never does that, but Saka, I was on the left, on the byline, so cut it back and no one was there. And he did the arms. And I was like, oh, Saka's a bit frustrated here. Like, he's looking at his teammates going, we shouldn't be drawing this football match.
Yeah.
And I should have been on the pitch. And I think Nikolai's point about like rhythm is really important. It's also important for the team to function, right? We know Arsenal will go into that PSG semi-final if those 2 teams meet in the semi. And let's say Arsenal beat PSG and then they go to a Barcelona or Inter Milan final. They're probably the underdogs, right?
Yeah.
They need their 11 that play that PSG game to get some minutes together collectively. And they haven't really had that because Saka's been out for so long. They've had big injuries, Gabriel, whoever. And because of the rotation we've seen in the league, we've not seen them full strength. And they need to build that as a collective 11 for the team that goes and plays PSG. As good as Arsenal have been when they've thrown in different players to different positions, if all are fit, or even if all aren't fit, from all those available, we can name you that PSG 11, the Real Madrid 11 tomorrow. And that 11 hasn't started much together in the Premier League in the last couple of months. So I feel like Arteta will want them playing these 2 football matches, given the fact they've got a week off after. It makes Saka, for me, a really strong, close to must-have buy for 33. But is he the right captaincy option? We can see Man City fixtures here. Now, Man City don't have European football, so they've got a week off going into the double. But off the back of the double, they have a really important semi-final against Nottingham Forest. So they play Saturday, Tuesday against Everton, Aston Villa, and then Sunday for Nottingham Forest. It's good enough spacing. Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, you would think, for the likes of Marmoush. Is it good enough spacing for the likes of De Bruyne? Well, we'll get to Man City mids in a minute, but let's just keep our chat on captaincy. We'll do a poll. Are you captaining Saka, Marmoush, Salah, or other? What do you make of Marmoush here, Dean? Everton, Aston Villa. He should start both, and he should have scored more than 1 at the weekend.
Should have, but didn't, and I think that's the problem with Marmoush for me. I mean, I know he's got a hat trick this season, but what's the upside of Marmoush at the moment? Like, what can you count on? And I'm not sure you can really count on too much. So obviously, as FPL players, we like to rely on tons of players we rely on in the past, and we don't have that yet with Marmoush. Still think he's a good pick. I think obviously those are two good games for Man City. Which way would I go? Marmoush versus Saka.
It's split in the poll.
It really is hard. Like when you actually come to consider who would you pick right now, I would probably pick Marmoush just because I think he gets more minutes and he's a striker forward. I think I would edge towards him just because of that and the fact also the Arsenal have this Champions League game, which could throw up new issues for Saka. But I don't think there's a lot in it. Nikolai says Marmoush for me, probably the most likely 90 minutes in both games. He's the Haaland now. Sally says Marmoush has a cup game, I think. Could be a rotation risk. Yeah, I don't think he'll really rotate too much. That'd be
Marmoush's cup game. So I just went through the fixtures and it's pretty good. Like Marmoush's cup game is Forest on the Sunday and it's a big semi-final, but he has a free midweek now. He has Saturday against Everton, Tuesday against Villa, and then 5 days till that cup game against Forest. I think Marmoush is fine for three games in 8 days. We'll come off this graphic, which is
I think so too. But yeah, I mean, a few people saying, well, what about De Bruyne? Where does he kind of fit into all of this? With those fixtures on the horizon.
Oh, we're going to get to De Bruyne. Don't worry, guys. We're going to get.
I was going to say, is he a captaincy option? I mean, that's obviously something we are going to address today. But I think that I would go Marmoush over Saka just because of minutes more than anything else as well. I did like the fact that City had a bit of that aura about them again. To come back from 2-0 down, could have been 3-0 down, to win 5-2 is pretty impressive. And De Bruyne rolled back the years, obviously, as part of that. So we'll see. Most of the times this season, they haven't really been able to build on a moment like that. But now, not too much pressure. You never know what you get, especially from players like De Bruyne, who are just trying to remind everyone of what they have done in their days at Man City.
Yeah. What did you make of Marmoush's positioning, Dean? Because 49% of the chat are saying captaining Marmoush. The underlying data's been there. The finishing's been all right. Like, he's missed a couple of big chances, but City are scoring goals for fun. And when we compare Arsenal and City for captaincy, I'm not necessarily looking Saka versus Marmoush. I'm thinking what team's going to score more goals in those two fixtures. Now, Arsenal have the slightly better fixtures, but Arsenal aren't a free-flowing scoring team at the minute, and Man City feel like they are. I rate Man City to score more goals. And if Man City score more goals, that makes me want to go Marmoush. Did Marmoush play as the number 9? Or did Marmoush play on the left? It was really tricky. The average position map has Marmoush left and De Bruyne down the middle was like the number 9. But De Bruyne was obviously playing as the 10 to Marmoush, but Marmoush naturally drifts left. And that left De Bruyne is like a free role with no defensive responsibility because he's got 3 midfielders behind him. And that makes, one, De Bruyne dangerous, but 2, it makes Marmoush dangerous too because he's got the best creator the Premier League's ever seen feeding him.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it looked like his starting position was going to be through the middle, but didn't really turn out to be the case and gave KDB the space to thrive in, which he hasn't had, so that worked out for both players, really. Marmoush is not a strict 9. He is a player that can wander. He is a player that likes to be on the move, and that's why he manages to find the spaces that he does. Andy says, I think Marmoush's bar is 14 points and maybe 2 bonus. Yeah, that's a fair point. Dylan thinks we should get a leak. I have Foden. If he starts, I'll keep him. If KDB starts,
get rid now.
Don't keep Foden, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting one on KDB just because, he's got, 3 home games left, I think, at the Etihad. And I think that's what makes this interesting. The fact that he turned up here, right? He was not willing to lose this game to Crystal Palace. And just as we've seen in years gone by, him take a game into his own grasp and just kind of control it, we saw that again and we saw what it meant to him. And I just wonder if I don't trust City, I do still have some trust in De Bruyne. I did not envisage that I would be ever picking Kevin De Bruyne again in an FPL team. But I don't mind the idea of having the last few weeks with an FPL legend in there.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I'm going to come back to De Bruyne in a minute because I want to compare him with the other Man City mids.
Okay, yeah.
But I've got a real dilemma on De Bruyne as well, mate. And as part of, I knew you would want to go there, and I do too. But on captaincy, because that poll is up, and I just want to summarise where our early thoughts are on captaincy. And then on Friday, we'll go through where we're at. And me, you, and Big Man will probably be a bit more accurate with it. But at the moment, I'm probably 60-40 on Marmoush. But then what I see from Arsenal and Saka could really flip that on Wednesday night. Where are you at in terms of your split? I'm not going Salah. I'll say I'm 0% there.
0, okay.
If I was to bring in a De Bruyne, I still wouldn't captain him. I'm captaining 60% Marmoush, 40% Saka as things stand. And the chat are with us. That 46% Marmoush, 31% Saka at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Salah, the fact that he's only got a single game takes him down a notch. But it is Leicester, and he's got hat-trick potential there. Like that is the thing that's why I'm not completely writing off.
No, I don't think you should. Like, he's still a great option.
Yeah.
I just know I want a doubler because of the enjoyment I get from having two bites of the cherry.
Same. So I think it'll be Marmoush for me. I mean,
you reckon? Yeah. You're not put off by the fact that his fixtures are more difficult than Saka's.
I mean, I am a little bit of the fixtures, but again, it comes down to the minutes. It's minutes versus fixtures, really, isn't it? And it's like, I don't know for sure that Saka's going to be okay or going to be used. And I don't know, because I think once before we did this to Marmoush, and he actually did end up being stuffed.
He has missed one, isn't he? Since he joined in the Premier League, I think he's not started one game.
So game. It was the week when we said, don't worry, he will definitely start. No. So you can only play, what you see, and I see that Marmoush is just a strong bet. And I think Man City finished the season reasonably strongly. Andy says we're all getting trolled by KDB.
All right, let's get to
maybe
it.
We are. Maybe we are.
Definitely a narrative in the chat, guys. Before we do any more polls, and we didn't put KDB in the captaincy poll. CH made a good shout. Are you buying KDB this week? No, let's rephrase that. Will KDB be in your team in game week 33? Because some might already own him. We'll put yes, maybe, no. I really want to see the outcome here because, honestly, there's a lot talking about KDB in the chat. I don't think he starts both games because I think he starts the semi-final versus Forest, and I don't think Pep will want to play him 3 times in a week. I also question, with De Bruyne, it was tailor-made for him, the position he was in at the weekend against Palace, because Marmoush played on the left effectively. What if he goes with a Doku or a Foden or a Grealish? That then means Marmoush number 9. That then means probably no De Bruyne, because he wants to play De Bruyne when he's got the complete free role. This season, we've only seen 14 starts. And the numbers when he starts, look at that, Dean. It's almost a conversion every game. So he has been amazing, but only 14 starts. He's been fit for quite a lot of them.
This is the thing, isn't it? Because those 3 have been so unconvincing for not any real reason. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne has had serious injuries. He hasn't had any momentum in the season. He's had all the uncertainty of whether he'd be signing a new contract. There have been loads of other factors about whether De Bruyne would be performing. Savio, obviously quite new to the team. Doku has just never got going in the way that he should have at Man City. And Phil Foden possibly having some mental issues in the game over the past year, ever since since he was playing for England. I think he's struggled to get back to the levels that he was at last season, and people perhaps criticising him, and which is silly, really. But was he footballer of the year and all those sorts of things? But out of those 4, I think De Bruyne's I think I'm going to say undoubtedly the pick.
Yeah,
if we know
off the back of the game we've just seen, where it's like, have you played your way in? Can Pep risk not having his talisman? Like, he's lost his talisman in Haaland. His other talisman is De Bruyne. Can he risk no Champions League football next season because he's decided to invest in next season and therefore not play De Bruyne? He's got to play him, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, De Bruyne isn't there, and it's quite funny in a way that the week that the week that they decided for sure that he's not staying is the week that he goes on and puts on a performance like this. Because if he'd have done this 3 or 4 more times across this season, I think they'd have kept him. I think they would have just given him another year, paid him what he wanted, and then let him go after that. But because KDB wants to get out on a high, I think he'll get quite a lot of minutes. Not all starts, but I think he's going to get enough minutes that he could be worth turning to. It still feels risky, though. To actually push the button on it still feels like quite a big deal, especially for those 2 fixtures in the double. Because do you trust KDB to get enough minutes back to back to make that worthwhile against teams that you're not going to roll over, I don't think.
Back to back, 4 days apart. If it was back to back, a week apart, you're like, yeah, fine. But it's Saturday, Tuesday. Even if it was Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday scares me a bit. If I'm on free hit, and there are people free hitting this week, I'd chance it. If I'm looking at my actual team, it's harder because when you bring someone in, you're probably keeping them for a longer period. But I do look at it and go, I think he starts Everton on Saturday. I think he probably doesn't start Villa on the Tuesday, but he could get 120 minutes across the double. 120 minutes is still good. You take that thing.
Sure.
And he starts Forest in the FA Cup. Then he's got a week, 6 days till the Wolves game week 35. So he'll play against Wolves in 35. In 36, he's got a week between that. So it's just weekend. He'll play 36. And then I think his last game is game week 37, Bournemouth at home, which could be moved to 36 if they get to the final. His last game in a City shirt will be the FA Cup on Saturday, the 17th of May, if they get to the final, or it will be the Bournemouth game, which will be on the 13th of May. I don't think he plays away to Fulham on the last day. Like, you're not putting De Bruyne's last game in a City shirt away at Fulham when they've just had a cup final before it, or they've just had a home game before it against Bournemouth. Like, he's having game week 38 off. In fact, he's halfway to Saudi.
Just leave him out of it. I don't know. They might bring him on for like the last 5 minutes, even if he doesn't, just to give everyone the last glimpse of a Premier League legend. I mean, let us see him one last time at the best stadium that there is in England. The club he should have been at all along. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's just intriguing, isn't it, that we're into these fast 6 game weeks or whatever, 5 game weeks, and we're to a conversation we never envisaged getting to of Kevin De Bruyne as an asset. Yeah, absolutely no chance KDB gets no minutes in game week 38, says FPL Freddy. Yeah.
I don't know. I reckon he'll be halfway. I reckon he'll be off. If they've got an FA Cup final the weekend before that, he lifts the trophy, he gets his medal. You don't need to go to Craven Cottage and spoil it all.
Stop it. You're just going to sit there with his FA Cup medal in the actual cottage. Yeah, maybe. But in terms of bringing him in, obviously you've got to find the right man to replace if you're going to do that. And looking at De Bruyne right now, 9.3 million is a really tricky number. That's really awkward to get to because
not if you've got Palmer.
Not if you've got Palmer. But it also means you're picking De Bruyne probably instead of Saka.
That's it, isn't it? It's can you go? I can get both because I've got 5 million in the bank. I can sell Enzo, but this is rare, right? Tell me what you think to this, guys, in the chat. You, Dean. I can sell Enzo and Palmer for Saka and De Bruyne with my 2 free transfers.
Wow.
It feels so obvious. But then that means if I do that, I have to bench Isak.
You cannot do that.
I'm giving myself a massive headache if I bring De Bruyne and Saka in, because then I have to bench either Salah on a double game week or Isak or like Salah. No. So, because I'll have everyone else on a double game week. So, and I'm not benching a doubler and I'm not bench boosting. So annoying for me because I think De Bruyne is a great pick and I think he gets 120 minutes. But yeah, if it's Saka or De Bruyne, Saka's just safer, isn't he?
It's extremely dangerous. You'll be kicking yourself to have Isak on the bench. That's a horrible place to be in. So you probably need to just pick one. Paul Van Resberg says, "I am benching Isak." That's very brave. Like, to have him and bench him is kind of crazy. Fulham
already have the Croydon De Bruyne. I love that. Taylor.
He certainly has. He's been playing like De Bruyne this season as well, like the new De Bruyne, not like the old one. That's what we were expecting when we got Smith Rowe.
Should we talk about Savinho, Foden and Doku and any
bro.
other Man City mid? We could put Mancity, Grealish, Bernardo all into the conversation. None of them are buys. Most of them are sells. I'd be offloading Foden, Savine, unless we hear he starts. And you can wait because we might get a leak. They are the first game of they are in the 3 o'clocks and the deadline's I think 1:30 on Saturday. But do you fancy Mancity to come in and get a start now? Like Grealish started against Leicester, played really well, but then hasn't been in since. Foden's off the boil. Savio was playing so well, but it dropped out of nowhere. Doku's, as always, inconsistent. Like they're just a swerve, are they? Other than De Bruyne.
I think so, mate. I mean, Savio still across this season has only got 10 more FPL points than De Bruyne. Like, considering like the availability here, like that
more minutes.
Yeah, that feels pretty crazy, really, that he's only managed 10 more points. So that doesn't really have any temptation. Foden has just shown himself to be an unreliable pick. You don't know when he's going to get benched. Even when he does start, he hasn't been returning. He's only got 9 more points than Kevin De Bruyne this season. So again, like that's not somebody you'd really take a punt on. So if you were going to do something a bit different, then at least with Mancity, you're not comparing points. You're getting a 4.6 million asset who's going to get minutes towards the back end of the season because Pep wants to give him some game time and some opportunities ahead of next season. But it's a completely different pick to take a Mancity as opposed to a Foden or a Doku or De Bruyne. So yeah, I mean, there's no temptation for me on a Doku. Like that's just not there. At least, yeah, like Reedy just writes KDB tempting. Exactly that. Oscar Bob, Nikolai shouts out. Oscar Bob, where is he?
I would love Oscar Bob. I started the season with him like he was a lock in my game week 1 team till the injury. But when you've been out for so long, guys, so many other players.
He obviously came on for. He got a little bit of game time. How many minutes did he get at the weekend? Like
he's had a few appearances off the bench now. He's had 2, but he might get 1 or 2 starts for the rest of the season.
Right, that's the thing. Like, so when you're talking about how far away is he? Like the kind of minutes he's getting. Just press the button. Yeah, he got 8 minutes off the bench against Palace. You know, maybe that Fulham game in the last game of the season. Maybe instead of De Bruyne, you go Oscar Bob because that's the sort of game when you get weird things like that. And then he'll do really well in pre-season, and we'll be sat here for the show before game week 1 saying Oscar Bob.
We've got him in our team as well because he's had no points in this season.
Yeah.
So yeah. Guys, loved all your comments in the chat. Thank you as always. Reminder from Andy, hit the like and subscribe for free. Love that, Andy.
Do it. Thank you
very much, guys. Please do. If you're not already subscribed, just check. Like, I didn't quite expect in this time slot, Dean, to have 300 people watching live. Like, it's quite. But we get that on a Monday night, so to have that Monday afternoon is really cool. So,
that's
guys,
lovely,
let us know what time slot you like on a Monday. We always like to hear your comments. But yeah, like and subscribe if you can. That'd be amazing.
Derek, why are we spending this much time on Man City? They're back. That's why, Derek. They're back. They've got a double game week coming up.
Look at the chat. I bet loads of you went into this stream going, "There's not a chance I'll own De Bruyne," and now 13% are going to own him. Fine, 26% are a maybe. That's 1 in 4 of you that are thinking about bringing him in this week, probably for all the reasons we've just discussed. Right? Yes. The narrative is there.
Yeah.
Dean, final point on De Bruyne. How many starts do you think he gets in the Premier League between now and the end of the season? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Premier League football matches. Do you reckon he's good? Can Pep afford not to play him by what we saw at the weekend? Or is it like Pep being Pep and he now goes out and doesn't come on in for 3 games? Do you expect him to be a starter? I reckon he gets 4 of 6.
Yeah, I expect the 3 home ones because I think that he plays them in front of the City fans, so everyone gets a last look at him, and he gets the chance to kind of like fulfill everything that he wants to in that stadium. Starts at least one of the away games. They got Everton. Who's the other ones? Southampton and Fulham. Yeah. So at least one of those. Yeah, probably 2. So 4 or 5.
I reckon I'm picking him on my game week 34 wildcard. On my game week 34 he doesn't play in 34. He'll be on my bench, but I'll have him for Wolves and Southampton in 35 and 36. Like that could be great.
Wow.
And then in 38, because he won't play at Fulham, I'll swap him for Saka, who plays
because he won't play. He just decided he's not playing the last game of the season.
Guys, there we go. Thank you all for your comments. I came to the stream because I'm thinking of captaining KDB. There we go, Dylan. Love that.
There you go.
You guys may be worried about KDB Mins for the double. Yeah, Andy, I'm worried. And if I don't buy him, that'll be the reason. It's just a shame it's Saturday, Tuesday. Give me Saturday, Wednesday, and I would have gone. I still might. Let's see what Saka does. Okay, guys, we'll come off of this. I think that all of our main talking points. I mean, anything else, I will ask our producer to send me a quick note to see if there was any key points. But we've still got 15 minutes left, guys, so don't go anywhere. We want to answer your questions. We want to make sure we've covered all the main talking points as well. But a lot of it was around Saka and De Bruyne this week, as you'd expect. We should probably talk about Aston Villa because they've got a double game week, Dean. Rashford, Watkins, Asensio, they're all too risky, aren't they, for 2 guaranteed starts? The only one that's going to guarantee 2 starts is Morgan Rogers. He's worth a buy, isn't he?
Yeah, so I've still got Rogers, and I've also now got Daniel Marlin. I'm not sure he's going to start either if he didn't start the one at the weekend. So that's a bit annoying. But yeah, it's very strange. We've had such an unpredictable lineup at the weekend that it's virtually impossible to know how Unai Emery's mind is working around this. Obviously, if they crash out in the Champions League, then you'd like to think it becomes a little more predictable. But I don't know if it is in terms of Ollie Watkins because of this Rashford role and how he's using him. But it's very, very strange to start prioritising Rashford as a lone player over Ollie Watkins, who is a player you own and who has been linked with transfer. And if he's not playing in the last weeks of the season, Ollie Watkins, he's going to be like, I'm off then. Like, if you don't want me, I'll go. You have Marcus Rashford or you have Asensio or whoever else you want to stick up here and stick on the penalties. So I would have an inclination that Ollie Watkins comes back in and looks to make a mark. I think that's the one that I would be most fearful of not owning, given that, as long as he's seen to be fit.
Yeah, it's a tricky double game as well. Like, we all see double game weeks and we can be blinkered for them. But if you own a Villa defender, you're not expecting a clean sheet versus Newcastle and City. And how many goals? I mean, they are scoring goals, but off the back of the PSG game, it's a tough double. Like, I think I'd buy Rodgers and Rodgers only. I'd love to go on a Watkins punt, but I just can't see it. Villa fan here, too risky. Rodgers don't do so well in the premises, Andy. Asensio, but same problem as Rodgers has just returned 10, 9, and 6 in the Prem. Just throwing it out there. He's been on my bench for all of those 25 points.
Oh no!
Honestly, is Watkins not carrying a niggle? You'd think he's probably carrying something, but likewise, Emery has said he wanted to play Rashford down the middle. He also confirmed post-match, Emery, that Rashford is the dedicated penalty taken out of the club. He then said Asensio, Tielemans, Watkins in that order, which was really interesting.
Really interesting. So Watkins, whenever he does come in now for his next start, he's going to have a point to prove and be like, this is my shirt. Like, how have I got to this point? Like, John Duran left. I thought I got rid of my competition. Like, I thought I'd shaken him off. And now I'm struggling for minutes. Maybe there is more of a knock there. Maybe there is more of a niggle than we're aware of. That's possible. But if there's not, I mean, Ollie Watkins would not be happy to be playing second fiddle to anyone. Even if it's Marcus Rashford profile, he's still a lone player right now, and he's still not somebody that they know that they are signing. Simon says Watkins in for Isak. Would you do that? Would you be willing to do that? I mean, it's not awful, but it's probably a bit of a stretch for me personally.
It's a stretch. It's a real stretch. Let's assume most people are free hitting in 34. If you ditch Isak now, you're probably not bringing him back. And the way Isak's playing, the way Newcastle are playing, I know the fixtures aren't easy for the run-in. After that 34 fixture, it's Brighton, Chelsea, Arsenal, Everton. But Isak feels fixture-proof. Like, I expect, he'll cause Chelsea and Arsenal. He's caused Arsenal so many problems this season. Do you remember the 2-legged EFL Cup semi-final against Saliba and Gabriel? Isak's fixture-proof, and he's the best striker in the league. If you sell Isak now for Watkins, you probably aren't buying Isak back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, obviously Aston Villa playing against Newcastle isn't ideal either. I've just seen a really bizarre comment from Duncan. He says, "Can I ask for help? I've been stuck at 150k rank since game week 10. He spent
Jeez.
20 weeks at 150k. I mean, that's a good rank, really. And
That's a great rank. I mean, game week 10, that's an amazing rank.
to stay
Yeah,
there is like amazing." He said, "I just
yeah.
don't move, but everyone else passes me. How can I
You're too
still?"
I'm guessing he's way too template. Duncan, give us your team. I'll put money on the fact that it's really template. And therefore, it's a good team. And I'm not criticizing you at all. Please don't think that. That may have sounded quite like I was, but you've got all the players that everyone else has got around you. So when you move up, they move up. And when you move down, they move down. So you're probably going captain obvious every week and you've got a template team. Maybe you haven't. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Let us know your team. I'm keen to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound like one of the best problems I've ever heard of in FPL. So that's still a very good number. So well done.
And you can
yes,
definitely get 100k. You can get a 50k green in the next six weeks.
Yeah, obviously depends what chips are going as well. Yeah, Zeke, I'll choose 2 or 3 players you know are in good form from watching games. Yeah, you're just gonna have to just back your knowledge and look at those teams around you that you know. Yeah, you know what they're going to be doing and just try and go different. He says, I wildcarded in game week 3 and that catapulted me up the ranks. But yeah, lately I have been rather template. By lately, 20 weeks.
You've got to go KDB captain. No, don't do it. But do look at a player. Like if it doesn't matter to you if you finish 150k or 250k, but you really want to get your target of 50k or 100k, then you've got to throw caution to the wind and pick some differentials, whether that's a differential chip strategy or a differential captain choice or just a differential transfer. I'm not saying go rip up your team and sell really good players like Isak to go Watkins, which is I don't like the move, but you've got to chase 1 or 2 things a little bit different. I've not necessarily done it massively with my team, but I've done it with my chip strategy. I've done it with captaincy a bit. Like this week, the vast majority will go Saka. I know the poll showed Marmoush, but the vast majority will go Saka. Maybe go Marmoush. Yeah. Would you have 3 players from both City and Villa? I personally think 1 Villa is enough. That is a Newcastle and City is a tough double for Villa after PSG. I think Rodgers is the only Villa player I'd say go by.
Yeah, I mean, I've got obviously 3 Newcastle players in my team at the moment. I've got potentially 2 Villa players, Marlon and Rodgers, but yeah, they won't all be playing for that game, that's for sure.
We'll try and get through 4 or 5 questions, guys. We'll go alternate. So Dean's going to start with a long one.
Yeah. Do we not think Nwaneri starts versus Ipswich, making Saka too much of a minutes risk to captain and maybe even avoid for free hitters? I mean, Nwaneri is going to get some decent minutes, isn't he, down this stretch? Especially if Arsenal progress. Is that the... Yeah. That's...
Arsenal progress. They've still got a couple of weeks, though, till that game. And I think Arteta will want them up and running. So I don't think Nwaneri does start.
Do you not? Okay.
No. I think
if Arsenal go out?
Still I still think like Saka, though, the fact Saka's just had his rest. If Saka had started at the weekend, I would be worried. But
yeah,
you'll get early subs from Saka, but you'll get starts, I think.
Yeah.
Good question, though. And it's a fair...
It's a really good question. Yeah, I liked that one because that did make me think.
Yeah, Napstar says, I'm on free hit 33. A few are on free hit, you know. Maybe on Friday's episode, I'll show my free hit draft.
Okay, yeah.
For goalkeeper, would you go Martinez, Henderson, or Allison on free hit? I'd probably go Hendo if you've got a spare Palace spot, although I prefer Manoz. Raya not an option as it blocks other Arsenal picks. Fine. I would argue go Raya and just don't have an Arsenal defender. I think Raya is better than Saliba and co this week. But yeah, fair play. I'd have triple Arsenal. I'd have Odegaard, Saka, and Raya would be my 3.
But
6 more likes, chasers, says off call. We need to get to 100 likes, guys. We also would love 10 of you to hit the subscribe button. So if you're not already subbed, please do check it out and just check and hit the subscribe. That would mean a lot. We want to get to 10k by the end of the season, and we're 250 short.
Yeah, 240, but yeah, still. Jamstar's been stuck at 280th for a few weeks.
God.
280th. I mean, That's like territory to try and win this. Do I play it safe or take a few risks before now and the end of the season? I'm 80 points off first place, but only 20 off the top 100.
Good God. Are you talking about a mini league or overall here,
He's talking
Jamstar?
about overall, I think.
That is nuts. Well played.
Well, I mean, mate, I've got no experience of this at all. I've never even been close to that. What would you do if that was you?
Neither am I. Don't tell anyone. I would look. You've done a lot right this season. I wouldn't worry about standing still or going differential. Like, keep playing the way you're playing. Your picks have got you this far. You'll probably continue to get greens. What I would say is there will be a couple of managers above you that have already used all their chips. You've probably got one or two which will be a differential in its, or feel like a differential amongst some. Let's say you're free hitting 34, you'll see big gains. Keep watching Chasing Green Arrows. Have a good chip strategy, and keep calm and carry on.
Yeah, Wazza was just giving a shout out for people to join their members group. Wazza is one of the hardcores in our WhatsApp. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of FPL chats, but you're also catching up with some of the members, like actual lives in there. I know, I'm starting to learn what their jobs are, learning what their drinking habits are, what their eating habits are, who works the most.
Come on, tell us about Wazza then. Tell us about Wazza.
Oh, Wazza loves a beer, but like a craft beer. Loves the strong beers. Like, Wazza will send a picture of 4 beers that would just knock me out if I drank the 4 of them. He has a good time.
That's a differential, wasn't he? I've heard you tell me about differentials.
Do you know what else Wazza does? He supports Colchester United, and he goes to watch it. He lives up north, but he'll get to the away games. He goes on some long drives to watch Colchester away.
Carlisle or something.
Does some good ones. But yeah, absolute star in our WhatsApp group, which is a lot of fun. Maliki says he makes him feel boring. Yeah, it's sometimes, honestly. Yesterday I had my phone off because I haven't got haven't kept my phone on all the time when I've been over here. I turned it back on, and there were 300 alerts on my WhatsApp group from this, and I was
from Wazza.
They're mad. No, not all from Wazza. They weren't all from Wazza. They weren't all the beers that he drunk through the day. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, I love that. Well, if you do want to join Wazza and Maliki and Geddy and Co and Dean in the WhatsApp group, you can click the word join below this video and you can become a channel member.
Yeah.
Andy says best 11 double. I'll show you a free hit team on Friday, guys. How about that? We'll do that, or if not on Saturday, we'll definitely in one of the streams this week. I think we might be doing a Saturday stream this week, guys.
A Saturday stream this week, yeah.
Keep your eyes peeled for that, because it's not going to be the 8 a.m. UK time slot, because the deadline is later this week. So we'll have a look at that. But guys, thank you as always for all your comments. If you're looking at doublers, then obviously you've got to have 3 City, 3 Arsenal. I'd probably have not 3 Villa and 3 Palace. Everyone's already got. Guys, as always, thank you for watching. Dean, when we next see you, will you be in San Diego?
I will be, mate. I'm flying home tomorrow, so I will see you from the other side of the ocean.
I bet how are you feeling about the flight? Do you dread the flights with the kids or not? Like, are they used to it now?
The first one was fine. Over here was a night flight, so they slept for the entire thing. Tomorrow they'll be awake for the entire thing. One of them does seem like he might be ill today. He's just laid on the sofa looking white since this morning. So I hope he's just like anxious about leaving rather than actually being sick. But we'll be fine. They can watch TV for 10 hours. That's what they normally want to do anyway. They can actually do it on the plane. So hopefully they'll be all good and they can just eat snacks.
Love that. Guys, we will see you very soon. There'll be no Wednesday stream, I don't think, this week, but we will see you on Friday, me and Dean. But for now, may your arrows be green for the rest of the week.